All right, next we're going to get into some basic cutting tools. So this is by no means exhaustive. There are so many different things you can use to cut things. But here we're just going to focus on a few of the key ones that we have in the hand tools department. A lot of cutters will be power tools, and if you can get them, I highly recommend it. It's great. But if you're just starting out, these are some of the essentials that you might want to take a look at. So we'll start off with wire cutters, or some people will call these side cutters. So this kind of duplicates a little bit what you can do with the lineman pliers. As far as cutting wire, you can just go right through that. Again, bigger, the heavier, dutier. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that made sense or not.
Heavier, dutier. I get it.
Gonna coin that. Okay. So yeah, the longer your wire cutters there, the more force you'll be able to exert. So if you've got heavy gauge wire that you're working with, you'll want the larger pliers. One nice feature about these, though, that the lineman pliers don't have is that the cutting edge goes all the way to the tip. And so because of that, you can use them to kind of nibble away at even thin metals and things like that too. So they can cut the wire, but they can also cut out like pop-out boxes for junction boxes or electrical conduit boxes, things like that. So they're helpful tools in that regard. So then we have something that's probably familiar to everyone. Scissors. Okay. So here, scissors, they are basically two wedge blades there on some compound levers. And so you've got your force that you're exerting over here, and that transfers to that side of the fulcrum right here with the others, and they bypass each other in order to cut through things. So I think everybody's probably pretty familiar with that concept, but
familiar with those.
Simple machines and scissors, they're there too. Next we have a utility knife, and this is a general workhorse, so you can use this to cut through a lot of different things. You can even use it to cut through drywall. So if you put a nice scoring line like that, you can actually, probably a straighter one, you can snap the drywall off like that if you scored it. So that's a way that you can use a utility knife. And this is a segmented blade, and so when you get to a dull spot on your blade, you can actually just snap it right off.
Oh, wow.
And you've got a fresh, sharp blade there. So you would just put it at the with the plastic shield at the part where you want to snap it, and then snap it off there. So just be careful when you're discarding those. So they're sharp. Then we have a coping saw. This is probably not a necessity, but it is just a basic hand saw. It's got very fine teeth, and so it does very fine work. So one of the most common applications for this would be cutting moldings like this. And they'll actually kind of trace out the profile of the mold sometimes on the edge that you're cutting out. And so it has the flexibility, because of it having that very small blade, to get those tricky profiles and cut in different shapes and stuff. So you can see like how it goes through like that. So it would take a little bit of time in order to get all the way there, but you have a lot of control as far as the shape of the cut that you make. And it has a very small tear out because of the very thin blade. It doesn't create as much dust as some of the other things that we've seen, like the drill bits. So that is your coping saw. Also with those, the blades are replaceable. So if you snap one or if it becomes dull, you just get a new pack of blades and put that on your frame. Then here, just a generic saw that I have here. This is a pruning saw. And so it's got pretty rough teeth. It's going to go through probably much faster, but also create a wider kerf is what we call the little tear out there from the saw blade. With this, it's going to be a little harder to get it started straight because the teeth are trying to tear out so much more. But you can see how quickly it works through there and cuts through. So if you just need a general saw to cut things off and you don't care too much how good it looks, I would recommend something like this because it's great for trimming off trees and things like that, and it's a good saw. So saws will work sometimes on the pull stroke or the push stroke. I really like saws that cut on the pull stroke because it's easier to keep it straight as you're pulling things towards you rather than the flex in the saw blade going that way.
That makes sense.